The largest consumer bicycle event in the world is coming to Laguna Seca Recreation Area in April for the 26th consecutive year. From the youngest amateur bicyclists to the sport's top pros, over 70,000 people will participate in and view this incredible event. This is the epitome of a dream manifested into reality by retired Marine Lieutenant Colonel Frank Yohannan. We spoke to Frank at his office in Monterey. This is RV Dream New Radio. We're in downtown Monterey, and we're with the president and CEO of Sea Otter Classic, Frank Yohannan. And I have one word for you, Frank. Wow. Unbelievable what the Sea Otter Classic is. For those who don't know, will you tell them?
Well, Sea Otter Classic is a festival of cycling. It represents all the major disciplines in cycling, including road bike, mountain bike, cruiser bikes. We even have electric bikes now that are coming along. Held once a year out at the Laguna Seca Recreation Area. We'll have about 10,000 athletes that will come and participate in races and rides and demos and so forth. And 60 to 70,000 fans will come, mainly to see our expo, which is the largest consumer cycling expo in the world. We'll have probably 700 brands that will be represented at the expo.
Now you started this. The dates for this, by the way, the 26th. Starts the 14th of April.
Yeah, 14th.
Goes for 4 days.
Yeah, 4-day event. And a couple of days before Sea Otter, we also host what's called the Bicycle Leadership Conference, where we bring in all the top executives in the cycling industry to meet and discuss the state of cycling and what's going on in Washington D.C. and the State House and so forth that influences our industry. But yes, the event itself at Laguna Seca is 4 days.
Now you started this whole thing back in 1991?
I did. I retired from the service in late 1990, and a friend and I started a business, an event management business, and we happened to be in a bike shop in late 1990, and the bike shop owner said, well, you guys should put on a mountain bike race. And so we looked into it and learned a lot about mountain biking.
Yeah, I want to stop you there because okay. You had your background is you grew up in Spokane, you said?
I did. I grew up in Spokane.
And then you went into the Marines early on in your life.
Yes. Got into the Marine Corps when I was 19 and signed up for 2 years, and 22 years later I retired. So Marine Corps, I got in, went through boot camp, then they sent me to OCS, became an officer, then went to flight school and flew for the Marines, and ended up teaching out here at the Naval Postgraduate School.
Right, so that was at the end of your career?
That was at the tail end, yes.
Right, but you had gone back, and so business was your acumen. You skipped over the part about going back and getting your BA and then your master's.
Well, the Marine Corps, like all the services, once they get you involved, they like to keep you involved. So right. They sent me back. I finished up my undergraduate degree in business, and then a few years later, they sent me back to the University of Colorado in Boulder, where I got my MBA. From that, I went to Washington, D.C., worked at the Pentagon for 4 years, and then came out here to the Naval Postgraduate.
You were a lieutenant colonel?
I retired as lieutenant colonel, yes.
And what did you teach out here?
Taught business courses, statistics, and operations research, and general business classes.
So business has been, when you finally decided, okay, I'm done with this, then you decided you weren't really in the bicycle business at that point.
No, I had ridden all my life, but
yeah, you're a fan?
It was not a passion, quite frankly. I was an avid handball player then and played a lot of competitive handball while I was in the Marines. And when I got out, took up golf when I came to Monterey.
Don't we all?
But once we got into putting on the mountain bike event, in 1991, then of course cycling became very important.
How many people were at that first year?
First event we had 350 athletes and 150 spectators, so about 500 people. And this last year we had about 70,000.
And it was at Laguna Seca?
That's correct, yeah. The very
It's
first
always
one.
been at Laguna
It's
Seca.
always been at Laguna Seca. The first 2 years, we called it the Laguna Seca Challenge, and then changed the name in the third year to Sea Otter Classic.
Now, you have seen the growth of bicycles from 1991 till now has been huge, has it not?
It has, not just in numbers and in people riding, but in what they're riding and who's getting involved in cycling. We're seeing new technologies come along, certainly with the advent of e-bikes. Electric bikes are becoming more popular in the United States. They're very popular in Europe. There's a category called fat bikes with big fat tires that are very popular with cyclists in cold weather climates. You could take the bike out, ride in snow. And mountain biking in the late 80s, mid 80s really started taking off. So we've been involved with mountain biking almost from its inception.
So the growth technology-wise, the technology has been a part of it too.
Quite a bit. Early on, again in the 80s, there was the economy kind of shifted, and kind of an interesting background is that a lot of engineers that were involved in aerospace got out of that business, and some of them said, we'll take those technologies and we'll build better bicycle frames and
Wow.
better bicycles. And so that's when a lot of the carbon fiber bikes and so forth started showing up on the market.
When you when I looked at your whole picture, I'm very impressed by the technology that you have online. You are very involved in Twitter and Facebook, and have a great website and so on. So you have had to keep up with a whole bunch of things year by year as it continues to change, right?
Oh, I can remember, I was telling somebody the other day when we first started this business and this thing called email was just getting going.
Right.
And I got a phone call one day from a young man who said, you should not be using email for business purposes. It's designed only for personal communications. And look how much it's changed since then.
Right.
So yeah, we've been involved in all that. We like to stay involved. In fact, today I'm looking at working with a company that's got a new app for photo sharing and video sharing that we're probably going to introduce at Sea Otter. So besides cycling, we like to stay ahead of the technology, and social media is so important to what we do.
And today, everybody who walks through those doors at Laguna Seca has a camera in their pocket too, don't they?
Yes, they do.
And I noticed when I was impressed by some of the things you have on your website, which is tips on how to shoot good pictures and so on at the racetrack, at the event.
I'm an amateur photographer myself, so I like that, and I encourage photographers to come out to the event and take advantage of not just the racing and sports photography, but also all the other fun festival things that are going on. Our emphasis, my emphasis with the event on promotions is really to get more kids involved in cycling, women involved in cycling, and then help the veterans that are going through recovery programs. And so those are my three main points of emphasis, and certainly that offers a lot of opportunity for videography and photography and so forth.
You do run the gamut from everything from free bicycle races for little kids all the way up to people who actually make a living racing, right?
Yes, that's true.
So there's a lot of free things for kids. It's very kid friendly.
Any kid 12 or under gets into Sea Otter Classic for free. All the events are free for the kids, whether it's a bounce house or a little kids track. We have a program called Little Bellas, which is for young girls. It's put on by two sisters that are professional cyclists themselves, and it's a mentoring program for girls 6 to 12 to introduce them to mountain biking. And so the Little Bellas is a big part of our program, and we'll probably have 70 or 80 young girls that come out and learn how to ride and how to ride mountain bikes and wear helmets safely and actually even clean the bikes up a little bit.
Now, I should have asked you this before. Do they actually run on the racetrack itself?
We do. We have races on the racetrack. Circuit race, which is basically riding around the 2.23 mile racetrack for a set period of time, depending on what level you race at. We have a lot of our events that start and finish on the track, so we do use the racetrack itself for a lot of racing, and then we use the four-door National Monument for racing.
Bigger than San Francisco itself, they tell me.
Yeah, it's pretty big. It's the old Fort Ord Army base, and so it's probably some of the best mountain biking the West Coast.
As you dig into the story of Monterey, you almost want to say this is the bicycle capital of the world.
Well, we're working hard to make it that way.
It really is amazing how many paths and different events and so on am I right? It's just getting bigger and bigger every year.
It is, and there's with the bike trails and the support we get from the county government, city governments, and so forth. Cycling is a very big part of the Monterey Peninsula.
So what will be different this year for those who went last year? What would be anything particularly different this year than last year?
Well, we always grow the expo, so our expo will be larger. We're going to have more exhibitors there. That's always a fun thing.
Everything from bicycles to helmets to you name it, right?
Clothing to a lot of food vendors, new technologies. There'll be 700 brands or so that are represented.
Wow.
It's the largest consumer cycling event in the world, and there are some big trade shows that are larger than Sea Otter, but for the consumer, Sea Otter's the biggest.
So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, well, I'm not going to be riding the mountain bikes or anything, but I'd like to see this. Yeah. What is it like for, we're RV Dream, so if I'm an RVer and I want to bring my RV, are you sold out already?
We're not sold out.
You could get your RV there?
Well, we can get the RV there, but our prepared sites with services, of course, are sold out. They sell out first. But we do have a lot of sites for RVs that we set up. And we're seeing more and more. Dry camping.
Dry camping.
That's correct. Yeah.
Right. There's a lot out there that people don't even know about. You could park RVs forever, can't you?
Yeah.
Well, and easier to get around. So if you want to be a spectator, it's easy to come to this and to be a part of it.
We have a lot of athletes, a lot of teams that come in RVs. And what they'll do, they'll go to our website, look under camping, and we've got it very well laid out on which sites are appropriate for RVs, what the size is, the cost, of course, and so forth. And once you get in and you get set up, it's the best way to enjoy Sea Otter because it's a very short walk over to where the expo's held and the festival.
And the thing about Laguna Seca that, it sort of impressed me this year was the fact that you're really 15 minutes away from everything else. I mean, Monterey is a small place, really.
It is, yeah. And there's some wonderful things to do in Salinas, and certainly going a little bit north into Santa Cruz, and then all of Monterey, Carmel, going down the coast, the Big Sur area. So there's quite a lot to do. And I know we get a lot of visitors that come in and spend a couple of nights. They may go to Sea Otter for a day or two, but then they go to the aquarium and they come and they visit the historic sites here in Monterey. They'll go down to Big Sur. So it's a great destination vacation for people to come and enjoy.
And we're staying at Laguna Seca RV Park ourselves now, and I will tell you that in the evening, that's the quietest place in Monterey County. It's really beautiful up there.
Maybe a little bit more going on during Sea Otter. But,
yeah, I can imagine. But it's a great place to stay. I always think it's such a secret that people don't know about is the RV park is so wonderful there.
Oh, yeah, it's wonderful. Beautiful area out there, and it's quiet, and you're right in the right at the edge of the Fort Ord National Monument. So for those who want to hike or go for a trail run or take a mountain bike out, it's a wonderful place to be.
Yeah, plenty of food and water and everything out there too.
Yes, absolutely.
Some great food vendors, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unusual food vendors.
You bet. Yeah.
So this final question, has this, you had in 1991 a vision of this, Is it beyond your vision or what you thought it was going to be?
Oh, it's way beyond our vision. When we started, we probably initially thought that, well, maybe we can put on 2 or 3 mountain bike events a year, and then we'll do some golf things, we'll do some other things. But Sea Otter just continued to grow and gets bigger and bigger. Never envisioned it would be where it is now, and it's certainly a credit to all those people that have worked so hard for 26 years now to bring the festival together every year and celebrate cycling.
Are you still enjoying it?
I am. I enjoy it more every year.
Really?
I do, yeah, because you see the success. And as I get older, younger people come in and participate or work with Sea Otter, and they try to keep me young. So it's a lot of fun. I really do enjoy it. I'm very blessed.
You got me more interested now when you start talking about those electric bikes. Those are the ones I like the best.
I would highly recommend that those people who are maybe have been on a bike for a long time come out to Sea Otter. And there are a lot of demo bikes, including demo e-bikes.
Oh, wow.
And just give it a try. And it's going to be a big technology in cycling in the next few years.
We'll get the jet bikes before it's over with.
Well, maybe.
We'll be flying across the whole thing.
I'm not sure we'll be the Jetsons just yet.
You never know.
You don't. I mean, who would have ever guessed just a few years ago that there would be electric bikes? The battery technology would be where it is that we could do that.
It's called Sea Otter Classic, and it takes place
at the Laguna Seca Recreation Area, April 14th through the 17th.
And the website, what is the website?
The website is SeaOtterClassic.com.
SeaOtterClassic.com. Frank, Yohannan, thank you very much for talking to us on RV Dream.